Hi guys, this is Ms. Carvalho, and today we got a pretty quick video because we are solving two-step inequalities instead of just the one step that we solved yesterday. So this is pretty much the same type of rules, nothing much is changing except we're adding a second step to solve them. So when we look down here at our examples, remember we're going to figure out the journey of x first and then do the opposite and backwards to solve it. So the journey of x here looks like we're dividing by 2 and there's a negative inside in front. So for this journey, we're dividing by a -2 first, and then it gets added to a -5. And then we're going to do reverse and opposite. So to solve this inequality, we are going to add 5 first. Add 5 first and multiply by a -2 second. So go ahead and pause here, see if you can solve the inequality and graph it, and then check your answer with me when you're done. Okay, so we started off with a tricky one. How'd you do? We added 5 first, and then we multiplied both sides by a -2, and when you multiply by a -2, don't forget to flip your sign in the middle. So x is greater than or equal to 6. That means I need to fill in my circle. And is the x the greater side or the smaller side? Well, it's opened up to the x, so it's the bigger side, and I'm going to go to the bigger numbers to the right. All right, let's try number 2. First, you're writing down the journey of x, and then you're going to tell me how you're going to solve it. So the first step for the journey is times a -3. And then the second step is subtract 2. That's the order of operations. That's the journey. We're going to do the opposite and go backwards to solve it. So I'm going to add 2 first to solve this inequality, and then I'm going to divide both sides by a -3 second. Go ahead and pause here and see if you can solve this and graph it correctly. All right, guys, how'd you do here? I added 2 first, and then I divided both sides by a -3, so that gave me a positive 3.6 repeating, and I had to flip my sign because I divided by a negative. This is going to be an open circle above my 3.6 repeating, and the variable is the bigger side of the inequality. Between the two sides, the variable is the bigger side, so I want my arrow to go towards the bigger numbers, which is always to the right no matter where you are at on the number line. All right, if you have different numbers down here too, that's okay. If you put -4 here and -3 here, that's okay as long as they're on the right place in the number line, but yours might have been a little different since we got a decimal. All right, let's check out this one. 2x divided by 3 plus x. So what's my journey of x? It looks like it gets multiplied by 2 first, then it gets divided by 3, then it gets added to 6. So times 2 divided by 3 plus 6. Do the opposite in reverse to solve it. So I'm going to subtract first to solve it. Subtract 6, multiply by 3, and divide by 2. Go ahead and pause here. See if you can get your answer right and graph it correctly before you play again. Okay, so first I subtracted 6 on both sides, and then I multiplied by 3, and I divided by 2. So there's no need to flip your sign. We did not multiply or divide by a negative. And I have x is less than or equal to -27. So I do need to fill in my circle here because it is equal to it also. And then my x is the less side of the inequality. It's the smaller side. So now I want my arrow to go to the smaller side, which is always to the left no matter where you're at on the number line. X is less than or equal to -27. All right, guys, one more. Find the journey of x, do the opposite, and in reverse order of operations, and see if you can graph it and get the right answer. Okay, guys, how'd you do? The journey was times 5 and plus 30, so I subtracted 30 first and divided by 5 second. And -2 is less than x, and there's no flipping the sign because I didn't multiply or divide by a negative number on both sides. It doesn't matter that this is a negative, it's what you divide by or multiply by. So I'm going to keep my less than symbol, which makes 8 X the greater side. So my arrow goes to the greater numbers and it's an open circle. All right, guys, hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions while you're working today.